Hi, Mrs. Jackson here to talk to you about something very exciting that's going to start happening in our classroom. Did you know that reading to your child is the greatest indicator of a high score on an ACT? Just reading every day to your student. So to help with that, we are going to start what's called a family literacy packet. Every Monday, your child will get a packet that looks like this. It'll come home in a reusable sack, and inside will be some different contents that will go along with our packet. So your child's book will have something to do with the unit that we're focusing on. Right now, we're learning about different shapes. And as your 2-year-olds start coming home and telling you about shapes, one that they might know is a square. So this family literacy packet is about the book Perfect Square. Inside of the book, as you read it to your child, I have put some little notes to help with some guiding questions to ask. So for instance, this one says, what shape are the holes? So here we see that the square has holes in it. And you want to ask your child, what shape are those holes? Well, those holes are a circle, aren't they? Very exciting. And as you go through, there's different ones. Like we look at this one and we want to know, what does your child think is going to happen next? Because as the square changes itself, it creates a new picture. And it happens throughout the book. So here he's in shreds. And what do the shreds become? A park. Very cool book. So I hope you like this one. I chose this one specifically because it's about shapes and it's a fairly simple concept. So right now, at 2 years old, we want your child to be able to tell us that this is the front cover, this is the spine, here is the back, and we want them to understand which way we hold our book. So are we holding it upside down, or are we holding it correctly and opening the pages and turning them correctly? As you read to your child, I encourage you to kind of run your finger along each word so that they start to understand that each one of these printed words means something spoken, that it has meaning. And so they'll start to tie that together, and when they become readers, they'll understand that these are words that they're reading, which is really exciting. So here is your story, Perfect Square. So that will come home in your literacy packet. And again, it's going to be in one of these reusable bags, because why not save the earth, right? And then you'll also get a folder. Inside your folder is going to be your instructions. It's going to have your letter coming home, and then it's going to have a short survey about the book. So I'm going to kind of go over the survey for this one. It's not printed out, but it will be printed for you. In this survey, I just kind of want you to look at, sorry, I'm going to pull it up on my computer so I can read it to you. But there's just a couple of questions. So I want to know if your child was able to make a square, and you'll kind of understand that when I go through our activity. And it wants to know if the child was able to complete the maker cards. Again, that goes along with our activity. I want to know whether or not your child enjoyed the book, and if you think the activity that goes along with the book is appropriate for your child's age level. So just some easy, simple questions there, and there's place for you to leave comments. It also includes all of our materials and our standards and objectives. So you'll get to read through those. We have some math standards, we have 1 art standard, and then 2 literacy standards. So I'm going to kind of go over our activity. This is called Square Maker. So you're going to have some maker cards, and then you also have these 2 sets of squares, and this was actually a square that I cut into triangles. And your job is to take turns making whatever it says on the maker card. So, and as you can see, it's just paper that I've cut out, and it originally came from a much bigger square. So there are 2 large triangles and then 4 smaller triangles. And you're going to use these shapes just like they do in the book, because if you read through the book, which you will with your student, you will see that the square changes himself into many different things. So here at the end, it talks about all the different things that the square made itself into. It made itself into a mountain and a river and a bridge and a park. And then it was a garden, and it was also a fountain. So there's all sorts of things that the square changes itself into. And you're going to get a chance to do that with a square. And you can do this activity in different ways. You could do it where you and your student each have your own set of squares. There's 2. Or you can do it together. And it may be easier, since your child is 2 years old, to try this together first before trying to have them complete the puzzle on their own. So I will go through the maker cards real quick. So these maker cards, they should be fairly simple. You'll kind of draw them like a deck, so you can lay them flat and you can pull it up and you'll read it to your child. This one says make your own creation. There are 2 of these cards in the deck, so if you were to play it taking turns, you would just make your own creation. And that's a fun card. You get to be creative and decide on your own what you're going to make. This one is, again, make your own creation. This one says make a face. So then you'll use your bits of your square to make it into a face. And you can use all of the pieces, or if you think that might be too hard, again, this is your own creation. You could use 1 big triangle as the mouth and then 2 smaller triangles as the eyes, and kind of make a face that way. You can do it however you like, as long as it makes a face. The next card is make a monster. That's a fun one. So that, again, you just start being creative and making your own monster, and it gives your child a chance to do it themselves. It's not a puzzle so much as it's a game, so they get to make their own puzzle every single time. We have make a kite, make a turtle, create a cat, and make a house. So some of these may be easier for your child. They may be a little harder. Again, how many pieces you choose to use is based on your child's ability. So if you feel like your child maybe can't do all the pieces to make a face, don't make them. If they only want to use 3, let them use 3. But if you feel like your child could do it using all the pieces, that is totally up to you. So it's just kind of a fun activity to be able to take one shape and change it into many other shapes. If you have any questions for me, feel free to email me and ask. Again, this is just kind of a fun way to get to you and your child some time to sit down and read. So here's your book this week. You have The Perfect Square. Bye, guys.